All right, so Damani and I went to New York City for New Year's Eve, right? And I definitely wanted to show you guys some pictures. I hate home movies. Hate them because they're just so boring to watch. I always travel with this red backpack. You know, you can look at all the patches and stuff on it. I love flying. I love to stretch out, but you know, coach isn't bad. There's like an unwritten rule about how you're not supposed to cross the armrests. Like, you've got half of the armrest, you know, the other person gets their half of the armrest. And this guy was really cool. He crossed his arms. He didn't cross the line, but this guy on my other side, he had this big newspaper. Apparently it takes, one of these numbers to read your newspaper. So I finally landed in New York City, Tulsa to Dallas, and then from Dallas to LaGuardia in New York City. So many people in the airport terminal you'll never see again. You see all these people and you don't know if they're coming in from someplace hot, coming in from someplace cold. Of course, I walked around the airport terminal, look for new stuff, and try to keep from being bored. I got a slice of pizza, ended up sitting by this huge window at this table, and I just watched all the planes come in, and going through their gates and all that kind of stuff. And I just sat there with this sense of astonishment and a sense of accomplishment, I don't know, satisfaction of getting somewhere. We figured out how to get to where we were going. We ended up having to take a bus. We got on a train, and he and I hit the town. Basically showed me around some of his old stomping grounds. We went to his old school, PS20, and we also went to the house where he grew up. I'm from Oklahoma. We don't really have houses like they do in New York City. The whole thing about all the houses being joined, I'm used to having a yard and a driveway and space, grass. Yeah, not so much in New York City. We ended up meeting his sister at this pizza place called Not Ray's, a little hole-in-the-wall joint. Amazing pizza, way better than Papa John's. Well, I never really introduced you guys to Imani. She's 22, and I swear they could pass for twins. Same body type, they're both real skinny. I'd never really seen anyone put Damani in his place. Whatever he was able to dish out, she put it right back on him. It was awesome. So Damani and I went out the next day, and he took me through Brooklyn. We took the train quite a few places, took the subway. I'm really excited that the Metro Transit Authority's strike was over. We ended up meeting with his friend, Aisha, at this coffee shop in Brooklyn, a place called Tilly's. She had her 4-year-old nephew with her. His name was Xavier. We all kind of hung out for the rest of the day. We ended up watching this movie called Roll Bounce. I watched it. They didn't really watch it, but I thought it was great. It was a black movie. I was like the only white guy. Damani and Aisha and I went and saw King Kong at this movie theater in downtown Brooklyn. Ended up eating at this diner till like 2 in the morning, just kind of hanging out and talking. Day 3, New Year's Eve, by the way. It snowed during the day, these big, huge flakes. And I'm not really that good of a shopper. I always complain that I don't have enough clothes, but whenever I actually go shopping, I'm like, I don't want to get anything. He'd go into a store, try on stuff, talk to people, and like 9 times out of 10, I ended up walking outside and just watching people as they walked by. It was just an amazing thing. There's, all these people everywhere, snowing, cold. We ended up meeting up with Tim Torres, one of our friends from college. He had come in from Washington, D.C., and there was like 8 people with him. 5 girls and 3 guys in this one hotel room. A little bigger than your bathroom. But the room was $300 a night, so split that up 8 ways. We ended up eating at this really cool restaurant called Benito One, a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant in Little Italy. We ended up spending New Year's at Central Park. The New York Roadrunners Association threw this big party, and there was also like a 5-mile run at the stroke of midnight. There's like running and fireworks, and there was also this big fat costume party. Initially, I wanted to go to Times Square, but Damani, effectively talked me out of it. So we went to Times Square after New Year's Eve. There was like 2 inches of trash everywhere because there were so many people, and there was just good grief. There were so many frickin' people out there and like falling down drunk. My last night in New York City, Damani and I went down to Rockefeller Center. Saw the big Christmas tree, saw the big ice skating rink. It was raining, got wet. I think I got a cold, but it was good. The next day I had to leave for the airport about 6 in the morning. I figured if I left from Brooklyn at Imani's house, it would take me like 2 hours to get there. Barely made it to the gate on time by 8. So I flew from New York back to Chicago, and then from Chicago to Tulsa. There's just something about the adventure of traveling.